Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So something I hope you may find interesting is a look through some of my art journals and some of my junk journals and tags that I've made. So as you can see, I try and keep all mine in little containers, boxes, all sorts, so I can sort of look at them later and gift them on. So this is a mini junk journal that I made a while ago. I think it was last year around sort of Halloween time. And there are lots of different elements to this. I will pop the link in the description to the full video on this one. So a lot of my larger journals like this starts off life as a piece of cardboard, and then I cover it with fabric, and then inside I have the signatures. So there are lots of different ways of attaching these. So for this particular journal, I've attached them using some ribbon. So there are 3 pieces of ribbon on here that I've just upcycled to hold 3 different sections. You can see there, holding all of these pages in. So these are some pre-made pages, some little journals, offcuts of packaging paper, all sorts of bits and pieces. And as I said, the actual base of this journal was a piece of cardboard that I covered with fabric. I then covered the inside as well, just to hide the seams of that. I've made some pockets and a variety of little tags using the offcuts of the paper. I've got the same the other side. So that is one journal. I have another one here. It's a little bit sort of sturdier. This is a harder cardboard that I used, but I haven't backed this one in fabric. I have just used lots of different papers, and I had some offcuts of ribbon from packaging, some beautiful embellishments and pearls, and if I just give this a little bit of a stretch just to open it, we can see I've got quite a few signatures. So this one was made differently. Where this previous one, I attached them using ribbon for each little set of signatures. This one has actually been bound. So what I've done there, I don't know if you can see it very well. Again, I will put the link in the description so you can actually see this being made from start to finish. There is a binding piece just there, which is what has held all of these pages in. I have a variety of different pages. These are all from ready-made papers. So again, that's another little journal. And this is a little pocket with tags that I made last year as a Valentine's Day special. So again, the colours being sort of red and pink. Some more of the pearls, some little flower offcuts, and some little embellishments just to keep the tags in place. So a lot of people ask me, why do you make all this? And I do it for several reasons. One, I like to gift things on, so something like this can be a great little gift for someone. Also, if you do like to do something a little bit different as a gift for someone, making them a little book that they can either use as a diary, or to make lists, a sort of to-do list. I make some of them to keep receipts in. You'd be surprised all the different things you can do with junk journals. They make wonderful little gifts, and again, sometimes you can make loads of little tags to put on gifts, presents for Christmas time as well. So in here is my little treasure box filled with more junk journals. So this one, as you can see, if I just untie this, you can see this is another one. I've used a ribbon offcuts actually from an old dressing gown of mine, and this one again, the signatures are all tied in, and on different parts you can see there are some little tags that I have made. You can see where I've tied this in to hold some of the signatures in. More pockets with more tags, more pearls, and there are different closures. So sometimes if I have an offcut of ribbon like this, I do like to sort of tie it off just to hold everything together. And I have a selection of my mini junk journals now. So if you've been a viewer of my channel for a while, you'll know that I love anything mini. So this is another mini junk journal, but instead of using ribbon or sort of binding, I've used elastic bands. So what I've done is I've covered those on the outside to hide them with some ribbon. Again, this was a piece of cardboard covered with fabric. I put some embellishments, some ribbon on it, and this is just lined paper that I've put in here. So that's another little, slightly more festive junk journal. Bit of a rustic one here, again the same with elastic bands, I've covered those. More offcuts of lined paper, some fancy papers, embellishments. I have some teeny tiny junk journals that I've made here, literally offcuts of paper and fabric. And in here, again another little box. I have actually made the smallest junk journal I physically could make, which is this one here. It's literally like no bigger than my thumbnail. So I wanted to set a little challenge for myself to make something teeny tiny that could go in like a doll's house. So again, same as some of the others, this is a little bit of cardboard, covered a bit of fabric. There is a tiny elastic band here, I don't know if you can see that. I've covered some of that with a little bit of cotton. I put a little dangle bead charm on it, and yes, it does have some pages. I show you the next size up. There's another one here. I've glued a button onto that one. Again, I've hidden the elastic band by tying some ribbon around it. More signatures. If I show you, this one's a little bit easier in terms of size. Again, same method. I've covered this with ribbon, buttons, offcuts of some lace, some lined paper as the signatures, and where I've covered the card in fabric, the same as some of the previous ones you've just seen, I've then covered those seams with some paper either side just to neaten it. Okay, so that's some of my mini junk journals. I do have some more themed ones here. So I had some fabric that was sort of superhero based. So I've got Wonder Woman, I've got Batman here, and again I've just made some mini junk journals, folded the fabric. Again, you can see I've just folded the corners in, covered that with some card. I've got the signatures. This is an offcut of like a beaded ribbon that I thought was really pretty. So I've used that just to hold those signatures in. A couple more there as well. And there's one under here that I did make a separate video on. So again, I will put the link in the description. This started life as a diary that I didn't really use. So I've upcycled it and covered it. So I've made a pocket for the front of it, put some mini word tags in there. I've glued some embellishments on here. And what I've done is the pages of the diary, I took some of them out just to make it a little bit smaller, just to try and make sure that this would actually close. And I've covered some of the pages, not all of them, but some of them, with some different papers and some pieces of card. So some of the notes pages still exist, as you can see. So it is a workable little book there. So what I will do is I'll put the link in the description to everything that I've actually made, so that you can see any of these being made from start to finish if you are interested in making some yourself. So that's the junk journal side of it. So this is the art journal side of it. So again, if you have been around my channel a while, you'll know I'm also an artist and I love anything creative. So this is quite an old junk journal, but I thought I'd show you just a few pages. So this is a old watercolor and pen portrait I did, and I love doing short stories and poems as well, so I've written that on here. I've done like a soft pastel background. This is another one, and again I've just sort of written some words. What I've done here is I had a pencil little portrait I did of a lion, and then I just did like a really scribbly pen version in felt tip. Another one here, I've got some watercolor portraits of mine and done a little bit of journaling here, and then I've stuck in some papers I already had, and I've used some sort of line stickers. So I've got all sorts of bits and pieces in here, some from my anime manga days, just loads and loads. Another one of my favourite pages, one of my favourite artists of all time, Vincent van Gogh. So I did my little version of Starry Starry Night, and again I've sort of created a similar sort of pattern in the background with felt tip, and then what I've done is the very well known song Vincent. I've written some of the lyrics, and I've just made that into a art journal page spread. So this is another thing that I think is really, really good. If you've got any old diaries or anything you want to use up, you can absolutely make a art journal, and you don't have to be particularly arty. I mean, this page here hasn't really got any art on it at all. What I've done is I've used photographs from magazines about recipes and cake packaging, and I've just journaled about it. So you don't actually have to be good at drawing or painting. If you want to sort of do something like this in a bit more of a scrapbook type of way, you absolutely can. And it's just a really, really lovely way of being creative, getting your thoughts on paper and making something really nice and unique to keep. So I hope you maybe have found that inspirational, maybe it's given you some ideas. As I said, I'll pop the links in the description to everything else that I've mentioned and made, some of these different journals, pockets, tags, and of course my art journals. I'll also pop links in the description to my playlists as well. And I have got some other pieces coming up soon, some new junk journals that I'm making, especially coming up for autumn and winter as well. So some more sort of festive inspired things coming soon, and some more art demo tutorials as well. So I've got all sorts of bits and pieces, maybe a few surprises as well. So I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon for my next video.